Or even coloured one in.
Keen Arsenal fan, then, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd have a real good go at Terry
Yes,
Adams.
no reason why not. So,
I mean, you know, in the company of Jerry Adams, let's go for the big villain.
To be fair, though, he's a pretty bad centre-half. Is he? Yeah.
what, Jerry Adams?
Who?
They've all signed books.
Yes.
They've all done book signings, except the footballer.
Yes, it's not actually book signings, but it's that all of them have written a work of fiction, except Tony Adams, unless you include the insurance form after he drove into that lamppost. Jerry Adams was in London this week to launch his new book. Apparently it landed in the garden of number 10 Downing Street. Richard Adams named his book Watership Down after its real-life setting in the beautiful countryside of Hampshire. Of course, if he wrote it now, it'd have to be called the M3 Extension. Hitchhiker's Guide author Douglas
I read
Adams...
that book once, Watership Down. It was terrible. It's more like watered down shit.
Are we going to ignore that?
Yeah, if you like.
Yeah. Hitchhiker's Guide author... Have you read that one?
Yes, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Really
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. The author of
I
Hitchhiker's...
did read it once, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I thought it was more like watered down shit.
Doesn't work quite so well, but is equally offensive.
If anything, it got a bigger laugh.
Which singular names bring us plurally to the final death throes of round 3, and the scores are teetering on the brink of being exciting. What with Paul and David with 6, and with Ian and Nick with 13. So 7 points in it, but it's not all over till the fat lady sings, so while we attempt to locate her, let's greet our final missing words round. This week's guest publication, from which 1 or 2 headlines may, or intriguingly may not be taken, is the deeply fascinating Personnel Today, the news magazine for personnel and training decision makers, which was kindly provided by my brother, who is one.
There is what?
A brother?
He's a brother, yes, and also a
He's
personnel...
one what?
He's a personnel officer, manager, director thing.
I met a personnel officer the other day. It was like meeting a bunch of watered down shit. Have I said before that personnel officers are a complete waste of time?
Yes, you said it several times, actually, last time they occurred on the programme, but
Yeah.
thank you for bringing it up again.
Pleasure.
Right, the losers start, so Paul and
Well,
Dave...
we're not losing. We're losing, but we're not losers yet.
No, but you're
Oh, I
losing at
don't
the
know.
moment. Well, there's 7 points in it.
We need a miracle, David.
Bless you, my child.
Great.
This water tastes a bit like wine, doesn't it?
But it's funny because I've got a different opinion about the taste of it. It's like it's been diluted in some way.
Not with some other substance.
Yeah.
So, Paul and David, here we go with Maxwell with what, says wife?
A very funny comedian who specialised in eccentric dancing.
Different Maxwell.
Bully, liar, cheat,
Insane.
crook.
Yep.
She noticed it rather late,
Bully.
I'm afraid.
No, mad was in fact the...
Oh, I said insane.
Did you say insane?
Yeah, I did,
That's a bit of a
actually.
drawback, because I didn't hear you. Queen Mum's down what?
My pants every day of the week. Said TV's Noel Edmonds. As he drove away in his sports car and gave a cheeky grin to reporters.
No, it isn't.
Down with
sadly.
flu.
Down at heel. Next, organisations are not linking training to their business plans, making it impossible to assess whether it's paying off, says who?
Boring old prat.
Personnel officers,
Says Robert Deaton. Frank Deaton. Charlie Deaton. Bill Deaton.
Bill Deaton is my
National
brother, but
Association?
it's not actually the right answer. What do you
National
say?
Association?
Very close, but
Of personnel-
inaccurate. And Industrial Society Survey is what I was waiting for, but probably...
But no one else
until,
will.
Very close, isn't it?
And lastly, Saddam recognises what?
pedigree chum in blindfold test. Kuwait.
Kuwait,
Kuwait.
suddenly. is the right answer. Very good indeed. Right, Ian and Nick, here's yours. Astronomers find what hiding behind Milky Way?
Curly Whirly.
Another galaxy.
Galaxy.
But not the bar.
answer. I'm not quite sure if he said it first. I think it was probably Ian.
Yes, it was. Well done, Angus. Got one right there.
Dwingaloo.
I'm Lord Lucan, says Anne Diamond.
I'm sorry.
I'm doing the caption competition. I don't know what you're up to.
I thought this was the missing words competition.
I'm around the head, like David.
Is it up for it tonight?
What, the answer?
I'm pregnant.
Pregnant, yes. Pregnant again is the right answer. Very good. Next, what passed 100 years ago?
120-year-old man.
Trains?
Cars, traffic. Oh, thank you. Traffic in London.
You're not allowed to take guesses from the audience.
I didn't take it from the audience. I just overheard a bloke saying traffic. And I thought it could be traffic.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to give it to Paul anyway, because he said trains, which is the right answer. And finally, what of the year 1994 the search begins?
Young musician, old musician, clapped out musician.
Young scientist.
Firmest peanut butter sandwich in Basingstoke.
Personnel officer.
Dulles personnel officer.
Is the right answer. Personnel officer. Which riveting insights bring us trudging to the end of tonight's hardly fought contest, and the final tally shows that Paul and David are this week's gallant Damon Hills with 12, whilst Ian and Nick are this week's dastardly Michael Schumachers with 19. So, a telegram from the Queen to our winners, a transcript of the Queen's speech to our losers. But before we untie our panellists, they have to perform the solemn duty of taking part in the caption competition. Ian and Nick, this is yours.
Camilla, you're looking marvellous.
Is it Prince Charles hypnotises puppet?
I think it's the other way round, isn't it?
Charles meets Lena Zavaroni.
Very good. Paul and David, this is yours.
You bird.
Woman licks chocolate off Malteser and finds man's head sticking out.
On which terminal note, we say thank you to our panellists Ian Hislop and Nick Hancock, Paul Merton and David Icke. And I leave you with news of a tragedy in Germany as Chancellor Helmut Kohl is fly-posted by dwarf protesters. Tony Blair says he won't press charges despite an attempted sex attack at the Labour conference by Des Lynam. And Nigel Mansell shares in the grief over Damon Hill's bad luck in the World Championship. Good night.